wanted to talk about death for some reason. I guess all of this started with me facing my mortality. Like back in 2005 when I was diagnosed with a blood clot. I went through a process. I went through a process that made me see life differently because I was given a circumstance that I had to respond to. I couldn't really ignore it because my body was currently under the influence of a disease. And this disease, given everything that I learned in a very short while, and I didn't really learn a lot. I just heard what I had and what medicine I was supposed to take. And what I couldn't do. And everything that came from me having this blood clot. It wasn't just a blood clot either. It was a gene mutation. So it's called Leiden mutation factor 5. And it's 𝐓𝐴 𝐓𝐴, which means that it is there are two identical things, or there are two things that needs to be present. 𝐓𝐴 is basically, it's hard to explain because I haven't really gone into this. But my condition back then could not have been formed if I didn't have one carrier gene from my father and one carrier gene from my mother. And both of those genes were kind of rare. So I was basically just told everything about the rarity and the severity of this new diagnosis that I have had. It made me see life very differently, and I started to be very much victimized, and I went into situations and emotions that I hadn't really experienced before. Not like that. I remember driving downtown, basically, driving down from the mountain. I was sitting in the passenger seat and I was looking out of the window. And we had come about like halfway down, so you come to this little fjord or this lake. And I remember just looking out the window, just with my head kind of leaned over against the window, and then it just broke down. I broke down. Because at that moment, I had accepted that everything was changed. And then I lived based on that. I acted from that. So when I started to hang with the wrong crowd, when the blood clot had made sure that I didn't continue or finish my school and my education, I was supposed to be this IT something. I don't know, because I hadn't really made any plans other than I didn't like school and I wanted to study something that actually interested me, and computers and IT did. But before the graduation, I was then put into the hospital because of the blood clot, and then I didn't finish it. After that, I just wandered. Very much like, what is the fucking point? You know? And this was back when I was about 19. I was still a very young kid. I didn't really know anything. But the mindset and the darkness and the hopelessness and being stuck like that, it changed me in ways that I didn't really realize or could see when it happened, when it took place, because at that time, I didn't know shit about life. I hadn't met a lot of people. I didn't have a lot of perspectives to go from. I didn't have a lot of knowledge. I hadn't studied or learned, experienced. There were so many things that were lacking from my perspectives, right? My experience. So I followed whatever flow I felt, and I started hanging out with the wrong people. And my situation, my environment, all of it kind of fueled my decisions and my thoughts and my feelings. And I was this bad guy, you know. And I took pride in that. I remember really owning that role after after the whole incident with the fire. The whole community, the whole town had a different approach to me. Like they acted differently around me, and I was stopped in the grocery store being told weird things like, "Thank you for burning down my job." You know, I remember very, very vividly thinking that, does she think that I did that on purpose? You know, but my life changed, and I was on the brink of complete darkness several times. When I got into prison the second time around, I was put into isolation for a long time, and they tried to break me in just isolating me. Like, you know, what many would do to the kids. They lock them up until they say what they want. That happened um for months. And I remember going through thoughts and feelings that I've never had before. Alone in the cell, I visualized every single thing I could do to just stop it. Didn't do it. I didn't act on it. I didn't like the fact that I had the thoughts. Because despite everything, I had people outside that cared and that were there for me. People who I really were fond about. Like I really loved the people around me, and I don't think I would have been able to do anything if I didn't have that support, if I didn't have the knowledge of the people around me. My point is that I was in that situation of darkness and despair, and I thought and felt thoughts that I didn't like about ending it all. And then I see people today that glorify death in a way that is just pitiful and pathetic because they talk about it as the easy way out. It's like there's a difference. If you walk around and you're like giving up because it's so hard and you're starting to think like, well, maybe it was just going to be better if I blah, blah, blah. No, no, that's the easy way out. That is like just giving up to the pressure while being in it and responding to it, you know, being faced with that immovable truth that this is happening. How you react and respond, that's up on you. That's up on to you. Like you have the power. I think that's what the blood clot really taught me the most. It's how I was able to respond to different challenges afterwards. Because if you're faced with mortality, then you will deal with that situation differently if you do it again. And I sat with it. I danced with it. It's like with an ice bath. You go into the water and it hurts. If and when you get control over your breath, you're going to feel the pain all over your body. Then it's up to you. How long do you want to stay? Because it's going to hurt. And it's all up to your discipline. But after a while, it doesn't hurt as much. And when you leave the water, the body wakes back up. So it's like a euphoric feeling instead. And without having that experience, you can't really explain what that experience is like. So if you haven't gone into the water, you should get into water. Take an ice bath and just feel it for yourself. And if you say that, no, but I don't like cold water, well, that's a problem. If you're just avoiding this, if you're avoiding the uncomfortable situations, that's part of the problem. Like that's why things are so hard, because if you don't face it, if you don't stick with it, if you don't go through it and integrate it and embody it and use it as fuel for the future, you're just prolonging a fucking bad situation or a painful situation. And that's why it bothers me when people are so victimized that they start to play with well, maybe I'm not supposed to do this because it's a little hard, so I'm just going to give up. Maybe this is my time, you know? I think that is shameful. And that's just my opinion. Because I know people are suffering. I also know that there are people who use that suffering and they transmute it. They don't just accept their fate. They actually go in and they sit with it and they meet other people with similar experiences. And all of a sudden, what you know? You got wise, motherfucker. You know things because of your experiences that others don't. And that is going to keep you far more in favor than the pain that you choose. Like, to go through that uncomfortable stage and be able to sit on the other side and basically be supported by the fact that you're still here. Use it as strength. After a while, you're going to be able to look back and you're going to see, shit, I did that. I'm still here. With every breath, the fire grows. And you can do anything you want in every given moment. That's the beauty of being human. You have like unlimited choices. You have the freedom of choice. Quantum opportunities. That goes way beyond a lot of what people care to understand or check into. But you have that. In every single moment, you can do anything. As long as you breathe. It's impossible to say what's possible, right? So why not just do the best of it? What if this would happen if I do that? Instead of, oh, I can't do that because what if? It's how you respond to the situation. So use it. Respond to the situation with the power that you have instead of the victimized, I'm done. Because you're not going to get done. I think it's just the start. Not saying that to be funny anymore. I think that now we're being tested. Many people. We're going through things that most people don't even think is reality because they're so stuck in the comfort bubble that they just don't know about other perspectives. They don't know about other people's lives because they don't fucking ask. I've seen this many fucking times on a daily basis. And I talk to people about this specific thing. And I talk to people who are there in the care of those who are supposed to support and help them. Those who are assigned by the fucking society around them to be the people who've healed them, to help them. And they're so ignorant. The healer, the supporter, the therapist, the guardian, whatever you want to call it. They're so ignorant, many of them, that they don't understand the pain that they're inflicting simply by not fucking seeing past their own ego. If you're standing there 3 a.m. in the night and you're looking at a person who has just managed to close his eyes and you are standing there talking about the football game that you just watched and you can't pick up the cues that this person is trying to sleep and you're standing there, illuminated by the fucking sterile light from the hallway outside as you stand there peering into his prison cell. You're just talking about this football game. Or you're being asked to take something up later, and you continue. Sorry, can we do this later? And you continue. Sorry, I don't have a lot of time right now. Can we please pick up this conversation later? And they continue. How strict, how direct do you have to be? Do you have to see, listen, bitch, shut the fuck up. Go outside and wait. I will do my thing and be done with it, and then I will come out. I don't have the time or the place right now. Please, respect my boundaries as I try to respect yours by being way too people-pleasing to you. I have heard stories that makes my hair crawl. I don't have a lot of it, so when I feel it, I feel it. We need to be more aware. This is the whole situation, I think. People are too ignorant to what's going on. Which means that when they got into these situations, bringing it back to the point of how to respond to an impossible emotional situation or overwhelm, you have the power. It's just you. Stop whining about it. I hope this was helpful, because I know there's a lot of people there in pain. And that's why every single video I say, just walk into the tribe where people have experiences that you can't even imagine. And then when you hear the tales that they have to tell, then you're going to see that, shit, things could get worse. Or you're going to see, shit, I thought I was the only one. And then when you know that you have people around you that can actually spar ideas and thoughts, where you can vent and just get it out, Magic happens. That's just how it is. It has been proven time and time and time and time again. I think this is the essence of religion, to be honest, but I'm not going to go into that right now. But there is something about the sharing and being in a space where you can. So, again, thelegacyforge.net, or just scan the QR code. I'm going to continue to say that and hound that because people seem to not understand that. It's like you're saying something and people don't hear what you're saying. So if you're watching this far, I appreciate you. I really appreciate you, because you've given me more time than most people are willing to give anything in this world, where instant gratification and attention are two things that is like always fighting. Always fighting. It's like the whole thing with the black and white wolf, and they're inside of you and killing each other, and then they ask, but which wolf will win? And then the elder says, the one you feed. Where energy goes, or where the focus goes, energy flows, and energy attracts more of the same. Love your face. Take care, freaking family. I'll see you in the next one.